Before money, there was debt. Before coins, banks, interest rates, and contracts sealed by law, human beings already lived inside a web of things owed. Debt did not begin as a number. It began as a bond, formed when one person received something from another, and the gift did not disappear, but remained between them as memory, a weight, or a thread from which whole worlds would eventually be woven. Early human life had no coins, wages, or prices, but it was never free of obligation. People remembered who had helped them, who had shared food in winter, who had offered shelter, and who had vanished when the group needed them most. Long before markets, there was memory, and memory is never neutral. It keeps accounts of its own, not in silver or numbers, but in faces, gestures, stories, and wounds. In a small community, nothing is truly forgotten. The gift, the insult, and the debt all stay visible. To live among others was already to live inside an invisible ledger. A gift looks innocent. A hand opens, food is given, a guest is welcomed into a home. But the gift does not simply move from one person to another. It changes the space between them. The one who receives is no longer quite as before. Something has entered their life from the outside, and with it comes a question that may never be spoken aloud. What will return? A gift can be kindness, alliance, or love. But it can also be a hook, since to receive is to become connected, and every connection casts a shadow. The first debt may not have been forced or cruel. It may have begun with gratitude, with the ordinary generosity that allows a group to endure. But even gratitude can become a chain when it cannot be repaid. At some point, giving became owing, not through a single invention, but gradually, through the pressure between memory and expectation. You helped me, now I should help you. You stood with me in danger. Now I must stand with you. This is not yet economics. It is morality. Debt begins where memory becomes duty, and its strange power is that it turns the past into a command, reaching forward to lay its hand on the future. Because the group remembers, the debt is never private. It becomes social, watched and judged by others. A person who never returns what they receive becomes dangerous, not for their poverty, but because they break the rhythm holding the group together. The first debt was therefore not only about things, it was about trust. Debt creates a new kind of time. Animals remember. Humans promise. A promise bends the future, declaring that something not yet here already belongs to someone. A future harvest, a future labor, a future loyalty. Debt is time made moral. It tells a person that they are not finished with what happened, that they must carry it forward. The present is no longer complete, but haunted by what must still be done, and the debtor wakes already accompanied by tomorrow. There is real power in this. Without promises, there could be no long projects, no cooperation across seasons, no trust between families or alliances beyond the immediate moment. Debt helps build the future, but it also captures it, since the person who owes does not fully belong to the present. A debt is a small occupation of tomorrow. For a long time, debt lived in memory, flexible and shaped by relationship. Once it became countable, measured in grain, animals, days of labor, or silver, everything changed. The counted promise hardens into an object that can be recorded, compared, and enforced, separating from the human situation that created it. A number remembers better than people. It does not sleep, forgive, or care whether the harvest failed. Yet this same coldness made larger societies possible. Grain could be stored, labor organized, armies fed. Counting did not just describe the world, it reorganized it. The first great institutions ruled by memory as much as by weapons. Temples, palaces, storehouses, scribes, and seals were machines for remembering what human minds could no longer hold. Who owed grain, labor, silver, or even a pledged field or child. Here, debt changed again. A person could now owe an institution, and an institution has no face. A neighbor can remember your hunger, and a friend can forgive, but the clay tablet does not weep, and the account does not see a debtor as a whole life, only as an unfinished balance. Once debt belonged to institutions, it could outlive the people who created it. Durable, inheritable, political. The bond became a system. Debt is never only something one consciously chooses to accrue. We are born into debts we did not choose, to parents, to languages, to the dead, to traditions universally accepted as truths. We owe care, labor, taxes, attention, apologies, and a future not entirely ruined by our hunger. Modern life often pretends debt is purely financial, a number on a screen. But beneath the number, the older thing remains. Debt is still about belonging, about who gave, who took, who remembers, and who decides when the account is closed. Some debts hold society together. Some make love visible. Some become cages. Perhaps human beings cannot live without owing anything. The deeper question is, who controls the memory of what is owed? Because the first debt was not written in silver, but in memory, and we are still learning how to pay it.